High above the sun-scorched plains of southern Peru, the earth itself becomes a canvas of incomprehensible scale. Etched into the desolate expanse of the Pampas de Humana are hundreds of geometric shapes, sprawling trapezoids, and intricate biological forms that stretch for miles across the arid ground. These are the Nazca Lines, a silent testament to a civilization that inscribed its most profound beliefs directly into the skin of the world. For centuries, these colossal drawings lay hidden in plain sight, their true magnitude invisible to those who walked beside them. This vast gallery of desert art was not the product of a fleeting endeavor, but the deliberate work of the ancient Nazca culture. Emerging around 200 BCE, this resilient society flourished in one of the most unforgiving environments on the planet. Hemmed in by the towering Andes to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west, they inhabited a coastal desert where rain is a profound anomaly. Yet amidst this barren landscape, they engineered a thriving civilization, leaving behind a legacy that continues to baffle and mesmerize the modern world. The creation of these giant geoglyphs was an act of profound simplicity, combined with masterful precision. The desert floor is covered in a layer of iron oxide-coated pebbles, baked to a deep rust color by millennia of relentless sun. By meticulously removing these dark stones to expose the lighter yellowish subsoil beneath, the ancient artisans created stark, enduring contrasts. They did not possess advanced machinery or aerial vantage points, yet they executed perfectly straight lines that run true for over 10 miles, defying the natural curvature of the earth. The sheer scale and aerial visibility of the figures inevitably spawned a cottage industry of sensationalism. Debunking popular myths about the site is essential to understanding its true historical gravity. For decades, pseudo-historians have peddled the notion that these immense terrestrial carvings served as landing strips for extraterrestrial visitors, or that they were constructed with the aid of lost, advanced technologies. Such theories fundamentally insult the incredible ingenuity of the indigenous people, stripping them of their agency and ignoring the rich archaeological record they left behind. Stripping away the fantastical speculation reveals a far more compelling narrative of human adaptation. The tools of their trade were remarkably simple, consisting of wooden stakes, cotton cords, and an intimate understanding of geometry. Small-scale sketches discovered near the site indicate that the artisans used a grid system to translate modest drawings into monumental earthworks. By plotting coordinates and extending lines with taut ropes, a small team of dedicated workers could complete a massive figure in a matter of days. This monumental effort was deeply intertwined with their daily survival and spiritual cosmology. The Nazca people did not carve these shapes for the benefit of airborne gods or future aviators, but for themselves and the subterranean forces that governed their world. In a region where severe droughts could last for years, water was the ultimate currency of life. The lines are intrinsically linked to the intricate network of underground aqueducts known as puquios, which tapped into subterranean water tables and allowed agriculture to flourish in the dust. Imagine the intense rhythmic labor of an ancient surveyor, driving a heavy huarango wood stake into the unyielding earth. The sun beats down mercilessly as he aligns a long cotton cord, his eyes squinting against the glare of the white-hot horizon. He is not merely moving rocks, he is participating in a sacred dialogue with the landscape. Every pebble cleared from the path is a prayer for rain, a desperate plea to the mountain deities who controlled the flow of life-giving water from the distant Andean peaks. The true purpose of the geoglyphs began to crystallize when researchers shifted their gaze from the sky back down to the earth. Excavations along the edges of the lines have unearthed countless fragments of polychrome pottery, remnants of marine shells, and the remains of agricultural offerings. These artifacts strongly suggest that the immense drawings were not static images to be passively observed, but dynamic ceremonial pathways. They were sacred architecture designed to be walked upon during elaborate religious rituals. During times of profound ecological stress, the entire community would likely converge on the desert plateau. The geometric lines, including the massive trapezoids and sprawling spirals, served as open-air temples accommodating hundreds of worshippers. As they walked the precise borders of the shapes, they would smash clay vessels as offerings, creating a cacophony of sound that shattered the desert silence. The ritual walking was a communal act of sympathetic magic, an attempt to restore balance to a fractured natural order. Beyond the geometric forms lie the biomorphic figures, the most famous and enigmatic components of the entire site. The desert floor hosts a menagerie of colossal creatures, including a monkey with a tightly coiled tail, a spider with perfectly proportioned legs, and a condor with the immense wingspan. There is even a massive hummingbird, its beak pointing precisely toward the ridge where the sun rises during the winter solstice. These are not random doodles, but deliberate iconography drawn from a complex mythological vocabulary. Scholars have noted that many of the animals depicted on the plateau are not native to the immediate coastal desert. The monkey and the spider point to deep cultural connections with the Amazon rainforest, hundreds of miles away across the formidable barrier of the Andes. This suggests that the ancient civilization maintained extensive trade networks or undertook arduous pilgrimages to gather exotic knowledge. The figures represent a cosmological map, a synthesis of the diverse ecological zones that comprise their known universe. A closer examination of these biological figures reveals a stunning structural secret. Nearly every animal is drawn using a single continuous line that never intersects itself. The entrance to the figure is often located at a specific anatomical point, leading the walker on a labyrinthine journey through the creature's entire form before exiting. This continuous path further reinforces the theory that the art was experiential. To trace the outline of the spider was to embody its essence, to participate in the spiritual power it represented. The acoustic properties of the arid plateau also played a crucial role in these ceremonial processions. The flat, unobstructed expanse of the desert acts as a natural amplifier, allowing sound to travel vast distances. Archaeologists have discovered remnants of panpipes made from pelican bones and clay trumpets scattered near the ceremonial centers. When played in unison during a ritual procession, the haunting melodies would have resonated across the plains, creating a deeply immersive sensory experience for the participants walking the ancient pathways. The civilization that orchestrated these grand spectacles eventually faced an insurmountable crisis. Around 500 CE, the region experienced a series of catastrophic climatic shifts, including severe ocean warming events that brought devastating floods followed by decades of crippling drought. The delicate balance they had maintained for centuries began to collapse. The archaeological record shows a frantic intensification of geoglyph construction during this period, as if the people were desperately amplifying their prayers to an unresponsive pantheon. The final generations of this proud desert society must have watched with growing despair as their subterranean wells ran dry and their crops withered into dust. The once vibrant ceremonial centers were gradually abandoned, the rhythmic sound of shattering pottery replaced by the howling of the wind. They left their homes, migrating toward the mountains or dispersing along the coast, leaving their colossal artwork behind. The desert, which had nurtured them for 800 years, finally reclaimed its dominion over the silent plains. The legacy of their desperate final years remained undisturbed for over a millennium. The unique climatological conditions of the region, defined by an extreme lack of rainfall, stable temperatures, and a protective layer of warm air that prevents wind erosion, acted as a natural preservative. The lines slumbered in the dust, their vast geometry largely forgotten by the empires that subsequently rose and fell in the Andes. They became a localized curiosity, faint scars on the earth known only to those who traversed the high ridges. It was not until the dawn of commercial aviation in the 1930s that the full majesty of the site was revealed to the wider world. Pilots flying mail routes between Lima and Arequipa looked down and saw what appeared to be ancient runways and colossal beasts etched into the earth. This sudden aerial perspective ignited a firestorm of global curiosity. Expeditions were rapidly organized, drawing historians and adventurers eager to decode the sprawling mystery that had been hiding in plain sight. Among those drawn to the arid plateau was Maria Rieke, a brilliant German mathematician who would become the most dedicated guardian of the site. Arriving in the 1940s, she spent over half a century living on the edge of the desert, meticulously measuring the lines with nothing more than a tape measure and a broom. She fiercely defended the geoglyphs from encroaching highways and careless tourists, dedicating her life to proving that the ancient creators were master astronomers and calendar makers. Rieke argued passionately that the lines functioned as a colossal astronomical calendar, with various lines pointing to the rising of key stars and constellations. While her dedication saved the site from destruction, modern archaeoastronomy has challenged the universality of her celestial theory. Statistical analyses have shown that with thousands of lines crisscrossing the desert, random alignments with celestial bodies are statistically inevitable. The current consensus has shifted away from a strict astronomical calendar toward the more nuanced understanding of ritual water worship. Yet the shift in academic consensus does not diminish the profound intellectual achievement of the original builders. The realization that these massive structures were tied to water management and communal ritual makes them more, not less, impressive. It speaks to a society that understood its environment on a deeply intimate level, a culture that sought to harmonize human existence with the unforgiving forces of nature. The lines are a monumental expression of collective resilience and spiritual devotion. Today, the preservation of this ancient desert art is a constant battle against the modern world. Shifting global weather patterns threaten to disrupt the stable climate that has protected the geoglyphs for 2,000 years, bringing uncharacteristic rains that could wash away the shallow trenches. Illegal mining, urban expansion, and the careless tracks of off-road vehicles pose immediate, irreversible threats to the fragile surface. The very existence of the site hangs in a delicate balance between historical reverence and modern negligence. When an observer stands at the edge of the plateau today, the silence of the desert is absolute. The lines stretch out toward the horizon, fading into the heat shimmer, a vast and intricate puzzle laid bare beneath the Andean sky. The presence of those ancient surveyors lingers in the dust, their monumental achievement echoing across the centuries. They did not build pyramids of stone that reached for the heavens, but rather turned the earth itself into a mirror for the divine. The profound impact of their work lies not merely in its scale, but in its testament to the human imagination. In the face of overwhelming environmental adversity, they chose to create beauty and order on an unfathomable scale. They transformed a barren wasteland into a sacred landscape, a place where the physical and the spiritual realms seamlessly intersected. Their art was an act of defiance against the harshness of their reality, a bold statement of existence carved into the dust. As modern researchers continue to study the intricate patterns and the labyrinthine animal figures, the limits of contemporary understanding become clear. Science can map the coordinates, analyze the pottery shards, and reconstruct the climatic history, but the visceral experience of walking those sacred paths is lost to time. The true meaning of the shapes, the precise nature of the rituals, and the silent prayers whispered into the desert wind remain locked within the stones. The Nazca Lines endure as one of history's most captivating enigmas, a colossal masterpiece of human expression. The intricate patterns remind the modern world that ancient populations possessed a capacity for wonder, engineering, and spiritual depth that rivals any modern achievement. The ancient desert art of Peru stands as a timeless monument to a forgotten people, their profound legacy etched eternally into the silent, sun-baked earth.